We bring you this now. The hard lockdown alcohol ban had a minimal effect in decreasing trauma in hospitals, and this is according to a new report by data expert Ian McGorian and UKZN's Professor Mike Murray. It compared South Africa to countries that did not introduce alcohol bans. Well, the report shows the curfew probably played a greater role in decreasing trauma cases over the period than the actual alcohol ban. So for more on this, we're joined by data analyst Ian McGorian, one of the experts who wrote the report. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. McGorian. I mean, quite an interesting report here, because if indeed these insights are true, then it begs to question some of the evidence with which, government authorities and some of our experts have been using to sort of support the alcohol ban in South Africa.
It is an interesting finding. I think that there are certain things that cannot be ignored in this whole process, and that is that equal effects happened in other countries, and those equal effects happened in countries that did not introduce alcohol bans, suggesting quite strongly that the reduction in trauma admissions had more to do with stay-at-home measures or curfew measures.
So with that being said, I mean, what do these insights tell us about, alcohol consumption, alcohol, harm in South Africa compared to other countries?
Alcohol consumption in South Africa is clearly not remarkable in any sense when you look at it from a per capita consumption point of view. We're ranked 56 in the world for alcohol consumption. The concept of drinking, harmful drinking is well researched in medical literature, and it's certainly something that has to be addressed and has to be addressed in a focused and reasonable way. We do take exception, however, to a total ban on alcohol, which suggests that the entire country has problematic relationship with alcohol. And we really need to take into consideration the lives and livelihoods of the people that are involved in the industry.
So with that being said, then, just for clarity's sake, is the report saying to us that the alcohol ban was unnecessary? Is it saying that the extent at which the alcohol ban had been sort of implemented in different, levels and in different regulations was unnecessary? What are we getting in as far as the government's decision to sort of ban the consumption of alcohol or even the sale of alcohol during the lockdown?
I think that, very briefly, I think it is extremely dangerous to use a hammer in example. The evidence for implementing an alcohol ban, the burden for that evidence really resides with the government. The concept of banning of any product or any service, any industry, must surely come into question. And in this case, and as we've seen through the duration, the alcohol industry seems to have almost been a target for the government. And the reason for that targeting remains somewhat opaque.
And with that being said, before I let you go then, Ian, I mean, when we look at South Africa's alcohol consumption compared to the rest of the world, is the country an outlier, just in as far as, alcohol consumption is, globally?
It really depends on which statistics you choose to pick to describe South Africa. But there are just far too many anomalies in the descriptions. So, for example, for non-communicable disease, alcohol-related disease, South Africa is certainly not an outlier. In fact, in comparison to our alcohol consumption per capita, we scoring below par. So this is a very broad area of research, and there are certain problem areas, there are certain parts of society or certain sectors of society that have a relationship that can be described as destructive.
Right.
But that does not mean that the entire society behaves in that way.
All right, we leave it there. But thank you so much for your time and giving us these insights. That is Ian McGorian, a data analyst.